Hey everyone, and welcome back. Ever find yourself staring at that Made in label, wondering what's the deal with global trade?
It's a question more people are asking these days, that's for sure.
Right. Like, how do developed economies juggle protecting their own industries while being part of, a global market? That's what we're diving deep into today.
And it's more complex than you might think. We're talking hidden tactics, consumer trends, the whole shebang.
Okay, so first up, tariffs. I thought those were like a history lesson thing. Not so much, huh?
Nope, they're alive and kicking, making headlines even. At their core, tariffs are taxes slapped onto goods coming in from other countries.
So make them pricier, give the home team an edge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think about the steel and aluminum tariffs the US and EU have put on places like China and Russia recently.
Because their production costs are way lower, right?
Yeah.
At least that's what I've read.
You got it. Problem is, those tariffs, they have a ripple effect. Prices go up globally. Sometimes it even sparks those trade wars everybody talks about. It's a balancing act, that's for sure.
So if tariffs are the opening move in this whole economic chess match, what about the sneakier stuff? I keep hearing non-tariff barriers thrown around. What's that all about?
Picture this. A country says, okay, only this many cars allowed in per year. That's an import quota. Less supply means higher prices, and bam, their local car companies get a boost.
So sneaky. It's like rigging the game, but with paperwork, I guess.
Pretty much. And then there are subsidies, where governments give their industries a financial leg up. Could be direct payments, tax breaks, you name it.
Isn't that like a good thing on the surface? Helping your own businesses and all?
Sometimes, yeah. But it can create an uneven playing field big time.
Hmm.
Like with agriculture, the US and EU giving big subsidies to their farmers, which hurts farmers in developing countries who can't match those artificially low prices.
Wow, never thought about it that way. What other tools are in this protectionist toolbox?
Well, there's regulatory standards. Important, right. Making sure products are safe, environmentally sound, labor's done ethically.
Right, gotta have standards.
Absolutely. But, and this is key, those regulations can get so specific, so tough, that they basically block out companies from certain countries.
So it's about finding that sweet spot between protecting your own and not shutting out fair competition completely.
You nailed it. Oh, and can't forget intellectual property law. That adds a whole other layer of complexity.
Patents, trademarks, all that jazz, right?
Yeah.
How does that play into protecting a country's industries?
Developed countries, they usually have super strong IP laws, especially when it comes to tech or pharmaceuticals. Makes sense. Got to protect those inventions.
Sure, but how does that affect, like, the average person?
Think about generic medications. Way cheaper, right? But strong patent laws in developed countries mean those generics can get tied up, become less available, even if it means people in other parts of the world struggle to get affordable, life-saving meds.
That's a heavy thought. So it's not just about protecting your own turf. There's this whole web of consequences.
100%. It really highlights how ethically complex global trade can be.
Makes you think twice about hitting that buy now button, huh?
Mm.
But it's not all down to governments and their policies, right? We, the shoppers of the world, we have a voice in this too, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Consumers are a powerful force, no doubt. And there's a growing movement that's shaking up the global marketplace. Buy local.
Yeah, you see it everywhere.
Uh-huh.
But like, is it a trend or is it, I don't know, something more meaningful?
Well, it's definitely got that trendy vibe, but it's more than just a fad. There are deeper currents driving it, pushing it forward. It's not just about economics either. There's a social and cultural layer to it that's really interesting.
Like, I get it, supporting local businesses, your community, all that.
Exactly. It's about economic nationalism, that idea that you're protecting jobs, keeping things closer to home.
Right, like those Buy American campaigns you see. It's
Yeah.
about pride,
Yeah.
right? But also maybe feeling like you're part of something bigger when you choose that.
You got it. And it's not just an American thing. You see that same sentiment all over the world. People want to support their own, rely less on outsiders. But there's more, too. There's this growing awareness of, well, the environmental and ethical side of things. Locally made often means a smaller carbon footprint, right?
Makes sense. Less travel, less fuel. Plus, there's this idea that buying local often means supporting businesses that, I don't know, treat their workers fairly, are more sustainable.
Exactly. Consumers are getting more and more aware of fair labor practices, where their materials come from, environmental regulations. They want their spending to match their values, you know?
It's about feeling good about what you buy, knowing it was made the right way.
Right on. But then there's the premiumization aspect. This is where it gets really fascinating. See, local, in a lot of cases, becomes the same as high quality.
Oh, totally. Like German engineering. You think
Well,
luxury cars, you think German, yeah, or
uh,
Italian leather. Those made-in labels, they mean something.
they do. It's craftsmanship, it's tradition, it's this idea of quality that people will pay more for. Take Italian leather again. They've got this whole image of luxury and style, and it works.
It's like you're buying into a lifestyle. I only drink French wine, or I'm obsessed with Japanese stationery. It's part of who you are.
And you know what? Governments and those marketing gurus, they know this. They use it. Think made in Italy. They're not just selling you food, they're selling you Italian culture, history, a whole vibe.
It's amazing how tied together it all is.
Yeah.
It's not just about the money. It's about image, national pride, what you believe in, even what you want your life to look like.
It's this crazy mix of factors that lead us to that checkout line. And to really get how powerful this stuff is, it helps to look at some real-world examples.
Hit me with them. Give me those case studies. I want to see how this plays out in the wild.
Okay, so let's kick things off with a familiar face, the USA. That whole Buy American thing, it runs deep there. It's about history, it's about pride in their industries, this whole idea of being self-reliant.
Yeah, and we've seen that feeling come back strong lately, right? Especially with things like cars, appliances, those big ticket items.
Totally. It's like there's this nostalgia tied to it. Like buying American made, it takes you back, even if it costs a few extra
Oh,
bucks.
sure. Okay, so next up on our world tour.
Let's jump across the pond to Germany. They've really built a reputation, especially when it comes to engineering, quality craftsmanship. Made in Germany, that's a stamp of approval for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, my grandpa, he used to say German engineering was the best, especially their cars. Yeah. And honestly, he was right. That thing ran forever.
It proves that building a reputation for quality, it lasts. German companies, they've put in the work, the research, the precision manufacturing, they don't mess around with quality control, and people are willing to pay for that peace of mind. All right, ready for our last stop,
Hit me.
Japan. They've somehow managed to blend cutting-edge tech with this deep respect for tradition, for craftsmanship. It's pretty unique.
It's true. You think Japan, you think electronics that are way ahead of the game, fuel-efficient cars, even their stationery is, like, beautifully made. It's like they don't make anything that isn't high quality.
Right. They've got this image of insane attention to detail, this constant drive to be perfect. Think about brands like Sony, Toyota, Canon. Those are global powerhouses. And it's not just because they make good stuff, it's because they've created this image of quality you can rely on.
It's like they've turned manufacturing into an art form or something.
Yeah.
So we've got the U.S. with its heartland values, Germany with its engineering power, Japan with its, like, futuristic but also traditional thing. Each country has its own place in the market playing to different desires, you know. But it makes you wonder, is this whole buy local thing always a good thing? Or can it be, I don't know, a bit messy?
The million-dollar question. And honestly, there's no easy answer. Supporting local, keeping those traditional skills alive, building a sense of community, those are all good things.
Right. And if it means higher quality, more ethical production, that's a win-win, right?
For sure. It's like you're putting your money where your mouth is, supporting the kind of world you want to see. But we got to acknowledge the other side of the coin, too. Sometimes those protectionist policies, even if they mean well, they can stifle competition, hold back innovation. And focusing too much on your own backyard, well, that can sometimes hurt developing economies that rely on global trade. It's complicated.
Yeah, no easy solutions here.
Yeah.
It's like trying to find a balance between a feather and a brick. It takes real thought, understanding that our choices have these ripple effects way beyond ourselves.
Absolutely. And if listeners take away one thing today, I hope it's that. Every time you buy something, that made in label, it's not just a label, it's a whole story. Economics, politics, culture, values, it's all baked in. It's realizing that we're all connected and that our choices, even as shoppers, they have a real impact.
Whoa, didn't realize my shopping sprees were so philosophical.
It's all about perspective, right? We go about our days making choices without thinking too much, but when you stop, you consider the bigger picture, it's kind of mind-blowing.
This whole conversation has definitely given me a lot to think about. I'm going to be seeing those made-in labels in a whole new light.
That's what it's all about. Knowledge is power, right? It lets us make smarter choices, appreciate how complex the world really is.
Well said. So next time you're at the checkout, remember your shopping cart. It's got global implications. Until next time, keep asking those questions, keep digging deeper, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.